Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Unnamed Cop Show. We have not done an episode in
A lot of months.
several months. We took a little hiatus. This is our 91st episode of the Unnamed Cop Show. 91 or 92?
Okay.
The 91st episode of the Unnamed Cop Show. And we have a good show for you today. We have a lot of things to talk about. And we have a new production company as well. So I want to say hi to Mike and his crew from AD Video. Okay, Mike and his crew from AD Video will be doing the filming of our show from this point forward. So we thank you guys for coming out. And we have several guests today. And we have a most wanted for those of you who like that part of the show. We have some people we really want to get in custody. We had an incident recently as well. An active duty Marine was shot right inside our city limits, and we're going to talk about that incident. We just have a lot of things to talk about. What are you going to talk about today, Aaron?
The senior center.
The seniors happenings at the senior center?
Yeah.
And in case you all have forgotten, since we haven't done a show in quite some time, this is Aaron Begley, Senior Center Manager for Family Service Association. Mm-hmm. And to my right, I have Vinny. Vinny is known as Uncle Vinny from Intelligent Kindness, which is the philanthropic arm. I said that right.
Bill, you got it.
The
Perfect.
philanthropic arm of John Tesh Radio's
The John Tesh
intelligence
Radio Show, yeah.
for the John Tesh radio shows. Okay. So Vinny works with the seniors and the veterans here in town, and he's got quite a personality. I think that's fair to say. And that's why we're having him on today, because he does a lot of great work. So we want to talk a little bit about that. I also have Sergeant Brian Link, the detective sergeant, who's going to come on and talk about the incident I mentioned before. And Sergeant Jose Guerrero, who we're going to introduce to you. They're both very anxious to come on camera. They love appearing on this show, so they'll be out here as well. And so I want to get started because the Sandy Hook incident is fresh on our minds. It just happened at the elementary school in Connecticut. I want to talk a little bit about that from a couple of different angles. Vinny, why don't you tell us what your mission is in the city, and then take us to what your plans are with Sandy Hook.
Okay, sure. Well, my mission in this city when I first got here was to help veterans. Start a program for homeless veterans. And how I came across that, wanting to help our veterans, is I drove an 18-wheel truck for years on the road, on every exit ramp, every nook and cranny, small town, big city. There were a problem with homeless veterans. I know. So it was a problem with homeless veterans. So when I came into this town, I finally got off the road, and I bought a house in Desert Hot Springs, planning on still traveling around the country helping our veterans. But when I got into Desert Hot Springs, I realized I have to go nowhere. I'm going to stay right in Desert Hot Springs and make Desert Hot Springs a better place to live. So that was my mission here. So I started with an inbound program to feed disabled veterans who are unable to go to Food Now. So I went to Food Now, and I worked out a program where I would deliver food to disabled veterans who couldn't leave their house, and we would deliver it to them. In doing that, I realized something that's very important that most people don't realize. You know, we realize what homelessness is, and we realize what a drug problem we might have in a community. But one thing we don't realize until you knock on somebody's doors and you look inside and you see this is the problem that we have with our seniors in this town is loneliness. Loneliness is a huge problem. When we deliver them food, we try to stay there, we talk to them, or we go back to them. And the reason why I bring this up is because of this. A lot of us can't give from our pocket these days. Times are tough. But we can maybe get an hour a weekend and actually go to your neighbor who might be a senior, or go to the senior center, and maybe, Erin, you might be able to give them a place where they can go to, where you know seniors that live alone. Mm-hmm. And go and visit them. If you could spend an hour a week, it's like $1 million to these people. Being lonely is really a problem with our seniors. So get out there and visit a senior, especially now for the holidays. I don't know when this is airing, but for the holidays, it would be awesome to visit them. I usually play Santa Claus at veteran centers, veteran hospitals. And on Christmas Day, they have nobody visiting them on Christmas Day. And I think, Kathy, you were telling a story that when we would leave the hospital room, the nurses would cry because they couldn't believe that they were getting a visitor on Christmas Day. I mean, so that's how bad our problem is with loneliness with our senior citizens.
So you've traveled the country helping veterans and helping seniors and helping others as well. What are you going to do with the Sandy Hook issue?
Okay, well, Sandy Hook, and this is if I get Erin's permission to leave the senior center with Whisper, of course.
I guess this one time.
Okay, this one time. We have a service dog who was trained actually for a veteran who got, that's another thing that we do, is we train service dogs for veterans who get injured at war. And we are going to go and bring Whisper to Sandy Hook in Connecticut, and we're just going to walk around the town, and the kids are going to get to pet the dog. And they say that it's working wonders for the children, just to pet, and they're just so therapeutic, these dogs, and they're gonna just pet these dogs, and it's really working wonders for them. So I'll be taking off for Sandy Hook shortly, and try to help these children out.
That's amazing work, and I want to have you on the next show to let us know how.
Oh, sure.
I turned off my mic. To let us know how that works out for you and how it's received, and just to tell us a little bit about the environment there.
Sure.
We're going to talk a little bit more about that incident and school safety in general as the show goes on. Erin, do you want to pipe in on what you had as far as dealing with the children and talking to them about violence?
Sure. Family Service Association doesn't just serve seniors, so we do child development, child care, mental health. We do everything pretty much. But something was sent to me today from the National Association of School Psychologists, and it's online, and it's about talking to children about violence. It's for tips for parents and teachers. There's a lot of information on that website, but just, in short, reassure your children that they're safe, make time to talk to them, keep your explanations developmentally appropriate, review safety procedures, observe your child's emotional state, limit television viewing of these sorts of events, and maintain a normal routine for them. So those are just quick tips to, work with your children through this.
Those are excellent. What's the website again?
It's NASP.com, I believe.
Is that the National Association of School Psychiatrists?
Yes.
Okay. So there's your website for information on that, because for all of us with children, this has been an especially difficult week. Okay. Vinny, do you have anything else you want to?
One thing what Erin just mentioned now is now with the new Boys and Girls Club here, and I did a piece on the radio this Friday about this. It's like she said, with all of these video games that the children are watching and these violent video games, and it almost seems like an alien came and took our kids off the street compared to years ago when you used to see the kids outside playing baseball and playing football on the street. You don't see that no more because it's not too safe. The Boys and Girls Club, they're going to have state-of-the-art surveillance cameras up here. They're going to have adult supervision, very safe place to go to get your kids outside playing sports again and away from the video games.
And check out the Health and Wellness Center.
That's right.
That's housing the Boys and Girls Club. It's fantastic. If you folks haven't been there, go by there and take a visit and take a tour. Okay, Vinny, we're going to move on, and thank you for your time. I know your time is valuable.
Thanks for having us, man. Love being here.
I really appreciate you coming on.
I appreciate you asking me.
All right, Vinny. Thanks. Take care. Okay. I want to introduce Sergeant Guerrero. Jose, why don't you come on up? You may approach the bench. Jose, like I said before, is very excited to be here.
There we go.
Come on, have a seat. I want to say that your Desert Hot Springs Police Department has changed over the past 3 or 4 years for the better. We have been able to attract and hire some fantastic people, and Jose is one of those fantastic people we've been able to bring aboard here. It didn't always used to be that way. Jose, welcome.
Thank you, sir.
And why don't you tell us just briefly where you came from, and then I'll ask you some more questions.
Okay.
Where did you work before you decided to come to our fine city?
Well, I've worked in several other agencies throughout my career. My first started with the Calexico Police Department back in '97 in the Imperial Valley. Moved on to the El Centro Police Department, where I worked there for approximately 10 years or so.
So Calexico to El Centro, that's like 20 miles, right?
Right.
Okay, so you moved up, you moved
halfway.
north. Okay,
And from there, I kind of worked for the Imperial Valley College. I used to run the Administration of Justice program down there. And I was there for about a year. I got a little bit bored, I have to admit, and I was missing police work. So I was given the opportunity to go work for the California Department of Justice and work under the Attorney General's office for now Governor Jerry Brown.
so did you miss the getting shot at, the midnight hours, the, you know,
What I missed the most was helping, just being part of the solution to the problem, and being out there and being able to make decisions to better our communities.
okay. Jose right now is working day shift for us. He's been here for how many months has it been?
I have been here now for
Five,
5.5 months. No one's counting, but that's about.
Seems like a lot longer sometimes with Jose. But no, he's been doing a fantastic job. And you worked for the Department of Justice Bureau of Narcotics, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And how long did you work there?
I worked there for approximately 4 years.
Tell us about your education.
I have an associate's degree in criminal justice from the Imperial Valley College, and I also have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice as well through the University of Phoenix, and
Okay.
currently working on my master's degree.
Okay, we are getting a very well-rounded and well-educated group of people that are coming to work for us, which is huge for this community. What I kind of want to talk to you about, because you're out there every day and you see it, is pedestrian safety, especially on Palm, in the area of Hacienda and Ironwood, and even going on up further toward Vaughn's and even up to Campanero. Jaywalkers, why don't you tell us about the problem and that you all watching this are seeing?
Well, the problem with the jaywalkers is basically people are avoiding the crosswalks. Is probably the safest way to get across from one side of the street to the other, besides taking the shortcut right in the middle of the highway or the busy roadway. And that's when you can get yourself into trouble. And we've had a few accidents where vehicles have been involved with the pedestrian, and those are the things that we're trying to avoid currently.
Right now, we're really pushing the patrol officers and even our special enforcement team members to write jaywalking tickets, because some of the folks out there aren't getting the message. So what do you have in your guys, what are you telling your officers to do about that kind of thing?
We're strictly enforcing as time allows throughout the day with the amount of calls that we get for service. If the officers have the time, we'll go out and make contact with people who are cutting right through the middle of the street to and from. Normally, we'll give them a warning to start with. However, if it continues to be an issue, they're getting cited under the city ordinance for jaywalking.
Okay, well, this is your warning, okay? You've all been officially warned not to jaywalk. So the next time you get caught jaywalking, we're going to write you tickets. We are going to do zero tolerance around in that area because we're having too many people hit by cars. I think we have 4 or 5 fatalities on Palm over the last couple years, at least that I can specifically recall. I want you to put the message out in Spanish about using crosswalks, and to take the extra 30 seconds that it takes to walk to a crosswalk from wherever it is that you come out of to cross the street. Put the message out there that we want you using the crosswalks. They're safer, or you're going to get cited or hit.
Okay. Para la comunidad hispana que vive en la ciudad de Desert Hot Springs, les pedimos que por favor usen el cruce del Pantonaje para evitar accidentes en el intermedio del crucero de las calles. Es muy importante que tomen el tiempo de caminar a donde están las luces y esperar su turno para poder cruzar la calle para evitar los accidentes. Si no sucede eso, los oficiales de la ciudad de Desert Hot Springs van a estar enforzando la ley contra caminando sobre la calle antes de cruzar por el semáforo.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us? your favorite part about working for Desert Hot Springs and what you're seeing in the community that you think is something you haven't experienced before. Me and Jose have talked about this.
For me, the best part working here is the fact that there's a lot of support for our police department. I love the fact that you can go out in any street around the city, and most of the time somebody will wave at you. Somebody will say, take care of yourself, have a good day, be safe. It doesn't matter where you're at or at what point in time during the day. There's somebody that's always giving you that extra so you can continue going. And of course, this is I'm very excited about the city because it's just, it keeps me going, it keeps me energized, and it's good to be back, I guess, and I feel right at home here.
Excellent. And like I said before, a great addition to our agency, and I want to thank you for coming on, and it wasn't too bad,
No, it wasn't.
right?
You did great.
Thank you.
Good, huh? You didn't say a lot,
Oh, whatever.
like someone I know.
Um,
So anyway,
anyway.
thank you for coming on. Jose's working right now, so I need to get him back out in the field, so thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Okay, before we bring up our next guest, Sergeant Link, you can start to come up, actually. Come on up. I have a joke for you. I know many of you have asked me about jokes. I kind of stopped doing them for a couple months, but I got hit up, so here we go.
Brace yourselves.
It's just not funny. Okay, this is somewhat public safety related, so I think I can get away with it. Okay, I need some water. 2 hunters are out in the woods when one of them collapses. Rick, you have to hear this one. Okay. 2 hunters are out in the woods when one of them collapses. He doesn't seem to be breathing and his eyes are glazed. The other guy takes out his phone and calls dispatch. He gasps, "My friend is dead. What can I do?" The dispatcher says, "Calm down. I can help. First, let's make sure he's dead." There is a silence. Then a gunshot is heard. Back on the phone, the guy says, "Okay, now what?" Thank you. Thank you.
Ba-dum-bum.
Thank you.
Wah, wah.
Okay.
I'm sure the folks out there got that.
I got a couple more.
They're
We'll-
rewinding
we'll put
their
them-
television.
Those who are DVRing the show are rewinding that joke,
That's right.
hoping to get it. Brian, this is your second appearance on our show. Thank you for coming by. Brian's here for, and it's an important message. We had an incident earlier this month, I want to say a couple weeks ago now, and a young man, passenger in a car, was shot, and he's in grave condition as we speak, and we're looking for some help. So I have Brian on the show today to put the word out and give us a little bit about what happened and what we're looking for.
Sure, thank you. December 6th, 2012, it was a Thursday morning at approximately 2:14 a.m. Our officers received a report of a shooting on Indian Canyon Road at 20th Street. Our officers responded to the scene, arrived on scene, and found a victim of a single gunshot wound to the back of his head. That victim, Craig Maddie, is a United States Marine corporal. He was treated for his injuries at the scene and transported to a local hospital where he is currently being treated for his injuries. And like the commander said, he is in grave condition. Although he is still alive right now, we hope he remains that way. What we're looking for, some support from the community. We need some help. We're working some leads right now, and we're hoping we get some additional witnesses to come forward and provide some information to us. All we have right now is that the victim, Craig Maddie, was involved in some sort of confrontation in Palm Springs downtown. And after leaving Palm Springs, the suspects followed him into the city of Desert Hot Springs, just into our jurisdiction. And a second confrontation occurred where several gunshots were fired from a high caliber rifle. Unfortunately, Mr. Maddie was struck by one of those bullets, and we are looking for information that can help us solve this crime. The only information we have about a suspect right now are several males. We don't know any particulars about them as far as race, age, any of that identifying information. We do have a possible suspect vehicle, which was described to us as being a small SUV, possibly a GMC Jimmy style, that was light in color, either white or tan. And so if the community can provide us any information to help us solve that crime, you can contact the Desert Hot Springs Police Department at 760-329-6411, extension 321, that's my extension, or Detective Raul Sandoval, who's the lead investigator in this investigation, his extension is 330.
Okay. Someone out there knows something about this crime. There's people out there who are talking about this. There's someone somewhere whose close relative may have been involved. First off, Crime Stoppers is an option for folks to call Crime Stoppers.
Yes.
They'll take your information anonymously. They also have reward systems in place. They do give rewards for information, especially as crime is serious as this. If they call in to the numbers you said, can they remain anonymous?
Yes, if they want to remain anonymous, Crime Stoppers is probably the best route to go.
Right.
But we are asking if you have any information, no matter how small you think it is, that you please step forward and contact either Crime Stoppers, who will forward that information to us, or call us at the police department.
Okay. Thank you for that. And I did want to, while you're up here, and you have, what, 21 years in this business, 22 years? How many years have you been in this business?
A total of 21.
We were talking earlier about the Sandy Hook Elementary School incident. Is there anything you can tell folks as far as being alert or aware to things around schools, or really any other place where people are gathered, as far as what they should call about, what they should look for? Is there anything they can do when they see something suspicious?
I think if you see something that just looks out of place, you should contact your police department, no matter how minor you think it is. It's better to have the police officers respond and contact somebody that doesn't fit or doesn't look right or just doesn't belong in the area. Have the officers contact that person to find out what they're up to and decide what actions they're going to take from there. But just be diligent, be aware of your surroundings. Try not to become paranoid or make the kids afraid to go to school. That's not something we want to promote. Our schools are safe for the most part, and we just want to be diligent in being aware of our surroundings.
Around the schools, or like I say, around any public gathering, if you see someone who's out of place, a lot of times people tell us they don't want to call because it's probably nothing. I've heard it a million times in my career, so has Brian. If it's nothing, that's a great outcome, because once we get cops rolling there, if we determine it's nothing, then it's nothing, and we all go home safe. But a lot of times it's not nothing. And it's your first phone calls that gets us there, that gets us rolling in that direction. And then if something does happen, we're already started in that direction. And we know the value of getting a head start on a high priority call. At any given time, we might make a left turn instead of a U-turn, or go one direction when if you would have called a few seconds sooner, we could have already been headed toward the crime. And seconds mean a lot on these kind of calls. There's been so many cases lately in the city where we have stopped and arrested thieves, burglars, and robbers because people are calling. But yet there's still those who we find out knew something and didn't call. So especially in a situation involving schools, with our children involved, if you see something, please call us and let us discount it.
I would say act on your instinct. Instinctually, you're going to know if something looks right or doesn't look right. If it doesn't feel right, it may not be right. And like you said, we'd prefer to go out there and not have it become an eventful activity at all, rather than have something bad happen and not be called. So absolutely, if you don't feel that it's right, call us. We'll go out, investigate it, and go from there.
Okay. Thank you again, and Sergeant Link, and I know you're busy too, so I'm going to let you go, and we'll have you back here in a couple months.
Thank you.
Hopefully with the outcome of the shooting incident, hopefully we can have a positive outcome and put some finality to it and get these people in custody. So if that happens, we'll be sure to report that back out on this show. So, okay.
Thank you, sir.
You're free. Thank you, Brian. Okay. Aaron.
Any more jokes?
I'm going to save. I got a couple more.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to try to bring people back to life after you're done speaking.
Oh, good one. Okay.
Okay, what's going on at the Senior Center? This portion of the show is called the Senior Moment. I sometimes forget to introduce it. That's because I'm having
Senior moment.
a senior moment.
Good one.
Exactly. Also, before we go any further, this is the first show we've done without our friend and our community resource service officer specialist. Community resource specialist,
Something
Jim
like
Knapp. Jim always sits right here, and I feel kind of empty without him sitting here, but Jim's not feeling well. And
Better.
get better, and we want him better for Christmas. So I made him stay home. He wanted to come in and do the show, but he's at home resting right now, so we miss you, Jim. Anyway,
Okay.
go ahead.
Since we haven't done the show in a few months, a lot has happened at the senior center. Highlights, just real quick. We had a wonderful Halloween, and we had we had a Thanksgiving gathering, if you will, and Vinny was on the show, and his brother-in-law John Tesh actually came, played the piano for the seniors, signed CDs. It was a wonderful day. A lot of seniors walked up to us and they just couldn't believe it. It was like the highlight of their life. So
Aaron loves John Tesh.
I do. It was very had a huge impact on them. So we are so thankful that could come together.
I was actually more impressed with Connie Selica, who also came with her husband John.
Yes.
She was very sweet, and she went around and spoke to the seniors, and very
Served
gracious.
cake. It was lovely.
Both fantastic. So I just want to make sure they got the other
Absolutely.
half of that.
Yeah.
I know you're focused on John. Go ahead, continue.
Okay. So that was just magnificent. We are doing well. I actually speak to City Council tonight, just a 6-month update. But we're just sustaining our program. We did not see this summer, when the snowbirds all flock away, you're supposed to have like low numbers. We have steady numbers. People are utilizing the senior center, which, we love. And I should highlight that the city purchased senior center signs around and put them up around the city. Thank you, Public Works. You're fantastic. So the access to our building is easier and increasing, and it's a fabulous thing. So that's something that we're very excited about. We do, if you seniors out there, come this Friday in a few days, don't know when this airs, but we're going to have a Christmas party. Wear your most festive sweater, bake your favorite cookie, and we'll judge them. So that'll be fun. And then just stay tuned. The city website always has the Senior Moment monthly newsletter, so just stay in touch with that. Come in, visit us. We're at 11777 West Drive and would love to have you. We're a hub of resources, and if we don't have the answer, we definitely know where to get it. So come on down and see us.
Very good.
I believe that's it. I have a gift for you. This
Oh,
isn't
boy.
this isn't from me though. Harold and Allegra, they're two fabulous seniors.
They're sweet, yes.
They are. It's a photo.
Is this a gratuity? I can't take gratuities.
I don't believe this would count. Isn't that sweet?
That is a fantastic photo.
Now I'm going to give Councilwoman Jen Pye her copy.
It is excellent. It's a great photo.
We were in the parade. We actually had a float at the senior center in this weekend's holiday parade, and we all got a photo. So it was nice.
This is better than the toilet seat you gave me, several months ago.
Well, you keep up your jokes, you might get more jokey gifts.
Yes, I do want to just touch on the parade.
Okay.
Seniors had the best float. I don't know if they're going to win the award,
We're really hoping for a trophy, but we
it was
haven't heard.
fantastic to see 20 seniors on the back of a trailer, and they all were safe. None of them toppled off or anything. They just hung on, and
It was very stressful, and I kept saying, brace yourselves, hang on, and they were all wanting to wave, and I'm like, hang on! But it worked. They're
no
awesome.
incidents. We had no incidents. Okay, well, time is just flying here, and I want to get to the most wanted. He is indeed our most wanted for this show and for the month. His name is Noe Holguin. First name Noe, last name Holguin, Holguin. He is a male Hispanic. 21 years old, 5'9", 180 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. A little narrative here from the guys who were trying to catch him. Well, wait, let me tell you what he's wanted for. He has 2 felony warrants, and he is wanted for just a whole slew of things. So we want him in custody. The story is that officers attempted a warrant service at his apartment, which is at 66789 Two Bunch Palms. When he was contacted, he fled the location, narrowly missing an officer as he drove away in another vehicle. And he almost got himself shot during that incident, I might add. The officers refrained, so he got away. The vehicle was later located, but he was gone. When the officers responded back to the apartment, they discovered 3 very young children that he had left in the apartment by themselves. So we had to contact different agencies to come and deal with that. He was watching the children, but he fled when the police showed up. So that's who we're dealing with here. So we want Noe in custody. Noe, I'm sure you'll see this show because everybody in this town, I think, does. Turn yourself in for everybody's good, and everything will be safe and nobody will get hurt. So I wanted to mention that. I do have a world's dumbest criminal that I want to briefly, this one's really good, and I know we're running out of time, but I have to get through it. Armed only with a screwdriver, a 95-year-old senior in a wheelchair kept a burglar from breaking into her home by repeatedly stabbing his hand. I bet you're curious about how that happened. It was 3 a.m. when 95-year-old woman heard someone break the glass on her front door and push the door open. From her wheelchair, when a hand came inside and tried to unlock the door, she stabbed it with a screwdriver. Again and again and again. The woman would not leave the door for fear the man would break in while she was calling for help. When police arrived, they found the bloody suspect passed out on the front porch with dozens of stab wounds to his lower arms and hands. 46-year-old Robert Horsley is in jail facing 1 count of first-degree burglary. I love that
That's
story.
awesome.
That is fantastic.
That was a good one.
So burglars beware. One more quick thing. We are going to be focusing our enforcement over the next month or so in the Stater Brothers and the Vons parking lots. The panhandlers there, aggressive panhandlers, we're going to arrest you when we see you. We are also going to be writing jaywalking tickets in that area. If you are using those parking lots to make any of your connections or meets, we're going to see you. We're going to be in plain clothes and we're going to be in uniform. So again, as we talked about the jaywalkers, beware. Beware if you're going to do crimes in the Staters or Vons parking lots, we're going to be there. And we're going to put you in custody or give you a very expensive ticket. So we hope that you violate our law, or you don't violate our laws and you follow our rules, but if you don't, we'll be there.
You know, as a resident, that is really awesome to hear because it is pretty annoying going shopping here in the city.
It can get annoying and we have complaints and we got to clean that up. So we're working on that.
Good.
I'm going to stop for now and save this for the next show. I want to thank Vinny. I want to thank Jose Guerrero for coming on. He was very nervous, but it didn't show. And Brian Link always likes to come on our show. I want to thank him and Aaron, as usual. And Jim, we miss you. And with that, we're going to say goodbye. Have a Merry Christmas. Have a Happy Holidays. And we will see you next month. And no more can you say you guys need to do a new show because this is your new show.
Happy holidays.
Bye.